Hey everybody, Matthew of Mr. Domestic. This video is for that person who either wants to sew or has a sewing machine in their house, but is stumped on how to thread it, how to use it, what to do with it. I am going to present to all of you a soup to nuts how to use your sewing machine type of video, because I want more of y'all to sew with me because it is so much fun. So if that's what you're here for, before we get into the content, if you're enjoying this, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and laugh with me because it's going to be a fun rip-roaring time. And if you're a veteran sewist, make sure to watch the video too, because you might be able to add something in the comments later that I might have missed. So now we're going to get into introducing you to my brother SE1900, aka Alfonso. So this is Alfonso. Ooh. It is a combination sewing and embroidery machine, but this was in my room, and this is as close to a starter machine as I have. I'll definitely leave some recommendations for starter machines if you don't have one in a blog that you can get in the description here. But let's start out with just showing you the main components. Okay, so this is where all the stitches are. This right here is where something called the bobbin goes. The bobbin right here, when you're sewing on a sewing machine, there is a thread on the bottom and a thread on the top. And the one on the bottom is called a bobbin. This one already has thread on it, so I have a blank one right here so I can show you how to use the bobbin winder. Then this is where the needle is and the foot. So if you hear anyone talking about the foot, it's right here, even though you would think it would be on the bottom. This is the foot right here. And opening it up here, this is where the thread goes, right in here. This is the bobbin winder. And then to thread it, you go loopy, 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 right? And that's where a lot of people get overwhelmed. So let's get started by just adding the thread. This is a cotton thread. The thread goes in here, and this is how my machine works. Your machine might be a little different, but they all thread similarly, and they all use a bobbin similarly. So here, the first thing we need to do is wind a bobbin. So for my bobbin, there are instructions on most machines, but people don't understand it. This one has two sets of instructions. The first set of instructions is the bobbin. So it says go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to follow it here. I'm going down. I'm going under here. And then through here. Right here. And then I'm going to put my bobbin on here and wind it. It winds this way, so I know to wind it, wind it, wind it, wind it, wind it, wind it, wind it. There's most bobbin things have a thing right there. I cut it, and then I'm going to press it this way. And with my presser foot, and I'll show you that if you don't know what that is after I wind it. No, I'll go ahead and show you now. So this is the presser foot. I use my left foot whenever I sew, even though I'm right-handed. That just seems to be more comfortable for me. And so work with either foot and see which one works best. So now that this is there, some machines have a button that you would push and it would start to wind. And then others, you do the presser foot. See it over in the upright. It's just winding, winding, winding. I'll fast forward. So now the bobbin has stopped on its own. I'm going to move it back over, lift it up. And I have a cutter over here. Some machines have a cutter right here. That's where mine is. If not, then just trim it with some scissors. And this is the bobbin. I'm going to put this down because I'm going to show you how to thread the machine. This seems to be where people get stumped. And once again, I'm going to follow the numbers just so that you can see most modern machines have numbers. Some do not, but it's threaded the same. So there's a bar here, moving it here, going under right here, and then go up like so. And then come back down And I'm bringing it up, and then there's a bar in here. The needle needs to be as high as possible, otherwise that bar won't be there and it won't catch. So now it caught, I'm bringing it back down, and then now right here, I'm gonna bring it here and then thread it. I have a needle threader right here, but I'm gonna show you an option if you don't have a needle threader. So I'm going to cut this to where it's a clean end. And this is a little trick that I learned by one of my students in a class that I was teaching. Most of the time people want to lick this, right? Don't do that. It's not good and it won't help you get it through. Instead, and this is kind of gross, but put some moisture on your finger. I'm leaving some of my spit and put it behind the needle. That creates something called surface tension that is going to help the thread go right through, no problem. If you put the moisture on the actual thread, it would make it essentially thicker and it makes it harder to go through the needle, but most people don't know that and they just do it because they've seen someone else do it. So now that I have the needle threaded, I am going to put the bobbin in. It does absolutely matter which way the bobbin goes in. See, the thread is going this way, and it is unwinding counterclockwise. It makes a difference. So I'm putting it in. There's a little diagram here, right here, and then just following the instructions, and then I cut it. So you'll be able to tell that it's going to go counterclockwise. If you put it in clockwise, eventually it's going to mess up and the stitches won't work, or it could get like tied up down there and create problems. So if you ever have a problem, then what I always do is I rethread everything. And so just do that. Rethread the bottom. And those are the two main ways to thread. But let me show you some other stuff. There are two places that you need to know. Right here, that's where you take a new needle out and put a new needle in. This is where you put the foot on and take the foot off. There's a little lever in the back going like that. And then you can change feet. If you're new to sewing and don't know which foot to use, this is a J foot, which is the letter that my brother has. And this is the standard foot that I use the most. My machine happens to tell me which foot to use, but if not, go ahead and use this one. It works great for most things you're trying to do. And how I load it up, just put it underneath, lower the foot. Once again, there's a bar back here, and I'll show you that after I show you this. And it's set. Then right here is where you change needles. Most machines come with this, and if you've never had a machine, you have no idea what this is for. It looks like a cool pendant or something. And then there's a screw. Unscrew it and screw it. Let me show you something about needles if I can. Right here. This is just a standard universal needle. That's the best kind to start with. You can use it for most things. But see that flat ridge? It's like round, and then it's flat. The flat part for my machine goes in the back, and that's standard for most. And then you feel the little hole up here. See? You'll feel it. If you try it the other way, it won't go in with the flat on the front. So stick that in, go like so, and then you want to make sure to tighten it. But don't tighten it so much that you can't untie it again. And then just because I want to show you, I want to show Alfonso off, let me go ahead and show you what my needle threader does. Right here, I just have a lever here, boom, and it's threaded. If you're able to get a machine with a needle threader, it will save a bunch of headaches. And that is the soup to nuts of a sewing machine. Hopefully that's helped you out. I'll show you some of the other things that I have. This right here is the lever for my needle puller. That's the lever that brings the foot up and down. It's usually in the back here somewhere. Sometimes it's a little bit further into the machine. But this should get you to where you can use the sewing machine. And then there's two stitches here that I use. One has the needle all the way on the left. And if you do that and line it up to the edge of that foot, then that is a 1/2 inch seam allowance. If you use the center one, let me move it, and then line it up to the edge of the foot, that is an estimated 1/4 inch seam allowance. Any pattern will tell you what seam allowance to use, and there's also a guide there, but those are some extra tips. Right there. So hopefully this has helped the nubile sewist who's a little frustrated with their machine because they don't know what to do. I've had a bunch of people ask for this type of video, and I'm excited for you all to get started sewing so you can join the party with me. So if you enjoyed the video, got a laugh or a tip or a trick, thumbs up, subscribe, yay, 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 and keep it positive. Mr. Domestic out.